Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of TFT Hyperroll with Artark. Okay, yeah, graphic, you know what to do. So let's not even talk about it anymore. Let's just get into this video that I don't want to say I regret doing this, but I want to say, please don't try and do this. I complained about this build in my 8.5 wrap-up video because it was my favorite build from the first half of the season. Not necessarily the strongest, but it was my favorite one to build. And it's not that they made it infinitely harder, it's that it doesn't gel the same way it gelled in the first half of this season. And I thought it worked so well in the first half that I was disappointed that it wasn't working as well in the second half. People who have been following the channel know the build I'm talking about, but let's jump to the augments and you'll be right there. The first augment is hero augment, so we're in pretty good shape because it's 2 and 3 cost. You can see it's 3 cost because we have a Vayne in there, and then 2 cost with the Pike and the Annie, so it's going to be in that realm. Could have gone for Pike, but I had already done a couple of Riftwalker videos, which I may or may not have posted yet. This might be in the middle, this might be at the end, I don't know, but I had already done them. So I start looking through, nothing here I'm really thrilled with. Then we get Spiked Shell. Okay, so that means I'm starting off with a Rammus, and I can try to edge into threats. My problem with threats this season is maybe what they were originally designed to be in the first place. Last season, even though threats had no trait, they kind of all worked together. Vel'Koz would stun things as Bel Veth was taking them down. Gath would mana reave, and it just gelled together so well. This season, without Gath, without Vel'Koz, it doesn't feel like they gel in the same way that they used to. Morgana is a 3 cost who's kind of taking the place of Vel'Koz because she will stun people, but it just isn't enough because you now only have the 2 3 costs, so you're not able to build up as quickly and you take a much greater risk of going down early. I now find myself just using threats to fill in for other positions, such as bringing Rammus into the Infinite Quick Draw build to shore up the front line, or an Atrox, or bringing in Fiddlesticks to run as a distraction. But okay, obviously people are sick of this because, as you can see, Fiora has just given up on this fight and is not even participating anymore. So I'll get off the rant train. My goal when I chose Rammus as the hero augment was to do a full threat team. So I'm just filling out the team until I can get there. Bramble Vest, excellent item for Rammus because his damage is based on his armor. My goal is to otherwise build around Rammus in such a way that it will just keep the team strong while I'm waiting for the other threats to appear, which is why I have the 2 Aegis and the 2 Ox Force so that I can hold on. Now, I got really lucky and picked up a Bel Veth in 5-1, so I now have her on my team. Celestial Blessing is a way to go because that's going to give me critical healing. I also got a Morgana out of the NPC round, so we're now on our way to creating the threat team. I decided to go with Last Whisper on Bel Veth so she wouldn't get stuck on people's armor. I could have made the Deathblade on her, but I'm really holding to try to make the Spear of Sojin for Aurelian's Soul once I get him, because I'm going to need that combination to really make this work. I 2-starred the Morgana, brought her in, and gave her the Spear of Sojin, either as an item holder or possibly permanently, depending how this all goes. The Celestial Blessing is allowing Bel Veth to keep her health up even when she is facing things that could otherwise kill her. She gets low, but is able to do enough damage that it keeps her alive and allows her to lead the damage charts. I've now also made Bel Veth a Bloodthirster for extra healing. Keeping her alive is going to be key. She was often my carry last season, so I'm hoping that carries over and she is able to carry this team just in case I don't get all the threats I need. We got an anvil off the last carousel, and I'm torn between the rocket-propelled fist and Death's Defiance. The cleaver does us no good because we already have Last Whisper. I ultimately decide on the rocket-propelled fist in order to interrupt another team's backline, and allow Bel Veth to start getting ahead of them. It's time for the final augment, and I'm really, really torn. Knife's Edge could work because I have Bel Veth up front, and I'm ultimately going to put Aatrox up front, and of course Rammus up front, so the extra damage could help, but a lot of this team of threats end up in the back line. Ultimately, I decide to go with the safe choice of what's in front of me and grab Knife's Edge because Bel Veth is going to be in the second row. For items, it is hard to resist a Sunfire Cape, so we go ahead and grab the Giant's Belt. That will go on Rammus to complete his build, and we bring in Aatrox, who really isn't going to have much impact at this point, but down the line should become very strong, presuming we can get him up to 2 stars. This fight's going to be really close. Rammus is holding them back, and Bel Veth is using all of her healing to stay away from things. She ends up escaping from Warwick and then focusing on Yasuo. Almost gets him down, not quite, and then they finish off my Morgana. And lucky for us, Rocket Propelled Fist works the way it did because it grabbed their Morgana, who could have wiped our team, and pulled her in and took her off the board. So they're running a threats build as well. Ours just is better positioned at this moment. Coming out of the NPC round, I'm officially torn. I am now 1 Morgana away from gold, but I got my Aurelian Soul. I pick up a Rabadon's Death Cap and then another one. That will make either one or both of them very powerful. I stack them onto Aurelian Soul, but I'm not sure how I want to handle the Morgana situation, and it gets even more confusing here as I pick up the ability to turn her into a 3-star unit. We go ahead and do it, so she now gets to keep the Spear of Sojin. Now, one of the keys in all of this is how much damage Rammus is actually doing by reflecting back attacks against him and with the additional armor that he has. Bel Veth is the one who's going to bring it home because she stays alive and keeps working the system until she gets every single person killed, but Rammus led the damage charts. And again, this may end up looking like Bel Veth is the star because she's going to go out and just take things on and lower them down and keep them off of other units, and you see her doing it, but at the end, when you look at the damage charts, Rammus is taking over and ended up leading us into the top 4. We grabbed a Rage Blade for Bel Veth so she can attack even faster. I don't necessarily consider that the best item you can get her because her ult allows her to keep picking up attack speed, but it does work pretty well. And we're down to our final 2 item choices, and the Jeweled Gauntlet will work really well on either Morgana or Aurelian Soul, but since Aurelian Soul has got the power with the double Rabadon's Death Cap, that's the direction I'm going. We are lucky enough to 2-star him, and we just need one more Rammus to turn him into 3-star gold. Now we are still looking for 2 threats. We do not have Fiddlesticks, we do not have Urgot. We're currently using Nunu as a placeholder for now, and our Aatrox is still only 1 star. So while we're able to do a lot, holding up against a team like this that has a Jhin, not so much. It's going to be a little bit tricky going forward. And since we're on our last life, we can't really take any chances. I managed to get a Fiddlesticks and had the chance to take it up to 2. I had to sell one of my Rammuses to do it, but that's what you do at this point in the game. You're better off having a 2-star Fiddlesticks on the board than the chance of getting a gold Rammus at some point in the future, because it's 6 health right now. If I lose, I'm out. So I'd rather get that 2-star Fiddlesticks in so that he can do what he needs to do. So against this Infiniteam with Quick Draw, yeah, he comes in, interrupts things, and just is able to take over, allowing everyone else to do the damage they need to do, and Bel Veth ends up leading the damage charts. So here, I had a major decision to make. I finally got Urgot. So I now have a 1-star Urgot I can put in. But if I take out any one of the champions that I could take out, I'd be losing Aegis. And so I have a choice between being a pure threats team or actually winning this match. I decide I'd actually like to win this match. So I keep Urgot out because I feel if I put Urgot in and lost the Aegis bonus, I wouldn't really stand a chance. I need every single thing I can get because their Ezreal is going to hurt. Fiddlesticks gets off the perfect ult, slows everyone down, and Bel Veth is able to come along and just clean up, which is what was necessary. But Rammus does lead the damage charts in the end. This is as close as I'm probably going to get to a full threats build this season. Go for it if you get the right augments, but be warned, it's not like it used to be. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, have an absolutely awesome day.